Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Air Restore Saturday morning webinar. It's the 22nd of April, and it is amazing how quickly this year is going by. We've got really a full panel today, and we'd like to have everybody be able to introduce themselves because we're going to talk a little bit about things that are going on in the office, we're hearing what some of the strategies are of people in the field, and I really want to hear mostly from the panel today as we reach towards the end of the month what their plans are and what they're telling their people and what they're expecting to have happen as we move out of the pre-launch and into the launch period. So with that, if I can, I'd like to just start and have everybody take a minute and introduce yourself. Cesar, we'll start with you.
Good morning, everyone. Cesar Vinson here in Houston, Texas.
Okay, well, we'll just kind of keep down in Texas. And Dave, introduce yourself.
David Laurie Miller in Fort Worth, Texas. It's great to be here, Bill.
Good to have you. It's Texas is still one of our strongest areas, and we're counting on all you guys down there. And speaking of Texas, Ken?
Kenny Maridocker in beautiful Spring Branch, Texas.
Hi, Mary, and a new member of the family. I can see we've got a kitten. That is, I didn't hear that, but so good to have you. And another member of your team, Dave Ball, is down there, and not in Texas, but in Arkansas.
Yes, good morning, everyone from Arkansas. We have the diamond mine, and we're looking for coal that's ready to become diamonds.
Well, we're going to have a pretty good kickoff meeting down there and in that whole Texas area. So we're looking forward to being able to see you, Rick Stein. You're also part of that same group.
Yes, part of the Dockery Supreme team here in beautiful Fairgrove, Missouri, getting over the rain.
Oh, that's great. Keep sending it. That's just exactly what we need in our part of the country as well. Not so, Lori, you're in the rain.
Good morning. This is Lori from Crossville, Tennessee, and yes, we are in the midst of some storms that we're going to be sending right to you, Bill. I hope you appreciate them.
Okay. Well, we'll take whatever you send us. John and Barb.
Hi, John and Barb Dorgan, Oaklawn.
Chicago
area.
Yeah, Chicago.
Okay. Sherry.
Good morning, everyone. We had drizzle this morning, but the sun is coming out, so it's going to be a beautiful day just the same.
Drizzle beats snow, and that you can live with. And Cher, how are you doing this morning?
Fantastic. Thanks for asking. Hello, everybody. Happy to be with you this morning from South Carolina.
Well, welcome, and I'm glad to see you got all moved. And we all know how much fun that can be, and that you're going to be moving for a while.
Yes.
And so welcome back.
Thank you.
And Eric, how are things up in Minnesota?
They're good. We don't have snow. That's and that's actually a possibility. So we're moving from snowblowers to lawnmowers, so that's good. That's
cool. Well, from Greenville, Tennessee, I can tell you that the things have been really going pretty well. I thought the first thing we could do today is just kind of bring everybody up to speed about what is going on and where we stand. One thing we're really happy about is the fact that we are being able to keep up with growth very easily. We had a couple little surges of orders that took place where out of the blue somebody wanted to have quite a number of units all at one time, and we could do that. And it didn't disrupt the flow. It didn't keep anybody else from getting any inventory. And so our theory about being able to have the additional flexibility to be able to handle the unexpected because we have kind of eliminated some of the lag time between production and shipping by doing both those things out of Tennessee is really turning out to be a very, very good thing. And it looks like it's going to work very well. We have still going through and solving a lot of the last of the problems that we have as far as getting ready for our launch. We still think that we're going to be ready by the end of the month, which is now only a week away, and it means that we're going to have to be doing a lot of things and a lot of planning, a lot of phone calls, and getting some of the last of our plans in order. But our plan is still to move from the pre-launch to the launch period, hopefully by the end of the month. There's a lot of things going on at once. Being able to do that, being able to accommodate a lot of the things that we wanted to be able to do to make communication better, so that we're more informed about what's going on. It's all working pretty well. One of the things that's really kind of surprised us a little bit is people have really, I think, found a way to start communicating what's going on with a lot of their old people. How do you go back and communicate with some of the old people? And I think one of the things that people are doing is going back and letting people know that inventory that they had that goes back 2 or 3 generations is still being supported by the company, and not only supported by the company, but encouraged to be updated by the company. And I think that they have found some ways to make it work. I know Eric had started to put a little extra load on your group up there, handling the RMAs and so forth. But just talk about how people are using it and what you're hearing about it. And if you can, any comments that you're getting on the feedback about the product that they're getting back that's been upgraded.
Sure, it is a pretty popular option when we get someone that calls in for an RMA or to ask questions about their product, and we start going through either the cleaning process with the old product, having to clean it so often, and letting them know there's an option to upgrade to the new technology where it works so much better, and they don't have to clean it nearly as often. They jump at the chance, and sometimes it's the customer calling in, and sometimes it's a dealer calling in for their customers, and sometimes it's a dealer calling in for multiple customers and doing a bunch of them at once. And they're pretty happy to upgrade technology. You don't get that chance very often for as technology changes, to actually upgrade your existing technology without having to buy brand new. So they're jumping at the chance, and it's a pretty popular option.
Well, that makes that does a couple things for us. It number one, keeps people in communication. Number two, anytime that you have a brand new product with a brand new technology, that there always is a difference between current technology and earlier technology. And the one thing I think that we're doing that is moving us ahead is by letting people know that the early pioneers, we always have a special place in our heart for them, because somebody's always got to be the first customers. And as the product evolves and the product continues to get better, it's nice to be able to go back and let them have some of the advantage of being able to move ahead. I don't think Apple necessarily really has that theory, or any of the other iPhone companies, not just picking on them, but I've got a drawer full of iPhones that nobody really cares about anymore, and the last one is the only one. And we're giving people that opportunity, but it also gives us a chance to get back and re-educate people as well. I don't know if any of the panel have specifically had any experience with people that are getting using that opportunity to get people to become reactivated or not. Panelists, if any one of you has some experience with it, speak up.
Bill, that's exactly what we've done. Is we have gone back and treated our dealers as if they were customers. And first of all, if they have an issue, find out what the issue is and help them correct it and reset their attitude. And I think that's so important that, it is, it is a new day, so to speak.
Barb has been handling it for other people, Bill. and she's got something she'll tell you about it.
Yeah, there's so many of our people that are busy with regular jobs, so we just contact them and say, whatever you need, go through us. We'll be glad to handle it. So I've been doing that, contacting everybody. We've sent in a number of upgrades for people, and hopefully they're getting done quickly. We have them sent back to the original people. We don't get them, so.
Jim is ready to get an RMA also.
Yeah.
That's really good, you know, and it is an opportunity because we've got a lot of people out there that really love the new technology, and even when you take the old technology that we have, there's nothing like it, and it's a matter of just being able to allow people to move ahead. I think the biggest changes that we've been able to make between the old technology and the new technology is not having to clean these things so often. I've heard talk to so many people that say, well, their people love the product, they like the business opportunity, they just were it was just they have other parts of their lives and didn't want to totally get wrapped up in being a technician. Sherry, I know that you have had a lot of people kind of complain about the commitment that it takes to become a technician if you're going to be involved with AirRestore, and that's changed.
Absolutely. And in fact, we used to give them all a kit where they have the screwdriver, the nail file, and everything. Now we're thinking of another kit, not that one anymore.
Well, you know, I think that it really isn't. And what I've heard from people that have gotten the product back, because we've been doing this now for 3 or 4 months, where we're doing the upgrade system, and they're finding that they, as we have told them, that if you've got an upgraded one, you really don't have to clean it very often. Obviously, if you've got it in a really nasty place, you've got to use some common sense about cleaning them. But the day in and day out care that the early ones took, even though they worked so very well, that really has taken one of the big roadblocks, I think, away from people being active in this part of the business. So I would encourage everybody to use that as an opportunity. Eric, do you have any special words on how people need to go about getting the RMAs and what's the best way to do it?
Well, you can initiate the process by either emailing us or calling in, but either way works, and it doesn't take very long just for Michaela to go through it and get you a number.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I'm glad you're doing up there is giving people the option, because obviously all of the early product is, as we are still doing warranty on it, because we just made that commitment that we're going to do that. But rather than just get it fixed, what we really would encourage people to do is spend a little bit of money and get it upgraded. And we're doing some upgrading, some critical upgrading ourselves. But getting a product back that has been upgraded gives you essentially an element without the thumb wheel, and it's gray. But internally and function-wise, it is very, very similar to the newest product that we have, and that is really worthwhile. Getting the carbide needles in there, getting the new plasma system in there, those things really are key to life and function. And I know that we've got some people that have taken product back from their customers and given them new products that are now out taking the old product back and reintroducing it to brand new customers with the upgraded unit, and they're finding that they're having great luck with them. Anybody else like to make a comment on this?
So Bill, when they don't do an upgrade, when they just return it just for you to refurbish it, mm-hmm. It's still the same triangle, not the carbide needles?
That's correct. It depends on the version of it. Sometimes when they're upgraded and under warranty, they do have the old needle, but we are not at this point in a mode where we're doing a full upgrade for free. In other words, if we have to replace, if we're ending up needing to repair it by replacing the block, the high voltage block, they're going to get new needles, and so they may or may not get them more than upgraded. But what we're trying to do, and what we're encouraging people to do, and what we're doing, is anything that we can do reasonably as a free repair, we're doing. But we're really encouraging people to get them upgraded. It makes more sense to get a totally new product.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Bill,
with that,
let me ask you a question. On the upgrade, the fan is being replaced with a new fan. Is that correct?
that's correct. We are going through, and if we have. If the fan is an older generation fan, it's getting replaced automatically, even if there's no complaint about it, just because we want to be sure that that's not an issue.
Bill, is this proper? You're replacing the carbide tips, the fan, and are we also replacing the black or not?
Replacing the what?
The white.
Yeah. That,
Black.
when that yes, because to replace the needles, we have to replace the white block in there, the high voltage block, what we call it, the tripler block.
It's a rebuild, basically.
It very is, and that's but more importantly too is there's been a lot of subtle changes. I think that we're up to something like revision G or H or something like that in the overall model. Because with any new product, you continue to put engineering changes in as you find ways to improve things. And so when you get one that has been completely refurbished, it comes out with completely new electronics, completely new the thumb wheel. Well, it doesn't have the thumb wheel in it, but it's got all the rest of the new stuff in it. And we are for sure changed the tripler block and the sculptured plasma plate. And sometimes you're going to get that anyway, because if we have to replace the tripler block, we will replace it with a new one, a new version. So if you don't ask to get it refurbished, you're going to get some refurbishing, but not all of it. And my opinion is that people should just ask to get it totally done, and for $25 to get it back and be essentially a brand new product in an old case. That makes so much sense. So. Well, we have, as I say, we're continuing to move ahead on what we're going to be doing for the launch. We're going to be scheduling some conversations with people during this next week. And so we're going to encourage people to be very careful, be very alert to changes that are being made. We're going to make this thing happen one way or the other next month. And so we're going to be moving ahead as quickly as we can. We've got a bunch of meetings that we're going to be trying to schedule. Ken, you've kind of got some meetings scheduled down in your group as kind of the kickoff for next month. I can't remember exactly what the dates are, but maybe you can kind of help us out with that, and we'll plan around it.
All right. First of all, let me make a comment about the refurb or the upgrade. Many of the complaints have been with the fan motor, the noise and that sort of thing. And when you upgrade them, that goes away. And so that's a tremendous improvement. But back to your question, we've got you scheduled into Arkansas, of all places, on the 17th of May. Fort Worth on the 18th, and then San Antonio area the 19th and 20th.
And that's a good start, because we're going to build on that, and we're going to take a look at getting over to the Houston area. We're going to just kind of, before it gets too hot down there, enjoy ourselves in the southern part of Texas and Louisiana and Arkansas. So we're going to be looking forward to doing that. And it's just a matter right now. The thing I wanted to point out is now's the time to be planning your groups, because we're putting the schedule together. I can see dates on my calendar starting to fill in, and we need to make sure that this happens. And there's a lot of work that has to be done, and a lot of changes that have been made, and it's an exciting time to be able to move ahead on that in that area. We have another item today that I'd like to share with everybody. Lynn Knutson out in California and I have been talking on the phone. He's been doing a little interview with me and sending me documents. He has a blog that he runs out there, and he has been really looking and trying to put an explanation of how the system works and the need for fresh air together for some time. And so as we have been sharing it, he has finally sent me a copy of the final version, or nearly the final version. And as he's done that, he's made it available to us to be able to put into the back office. But I thought I would share just some of the highlights with everybody today, if I can. It's kind of an interesting document, as you can see on your screen. Basically, he took the idea of trying to answer the fundamental questions about why people are, there we go, could have moved out here. Why do we, what's so different about this product? And you know, we've tried to find some ways to go about describing how the product works, what's different about it, and those kinds of things. And I think he did a pretty good job. And first of all, he started out with just pointing out to people what the problem is. There's an awful lot of people, by the way, that still don't realize that we've got a problem of just spending our time indoors. And it took a while, even when Lynn and I were talking, where he finally dawned on him, you know, that is the big difference. It's just a matter of fact that we have gone from an outdoor to an indoor society. So he really does a pretty good job of outlining the situation. And I think that finally, in coming down to the paragraph talking about the fact that the main problem that we have got is the fact that our bodies and the environment are out of sync, that our bodies were designed by God to live and function outdoors. The outdoors existed. He created that. He put us into it. He gave us all kinds of systems in our bodies that allow us and require that we be in that outdoor air. And the fact that we've moved indoors is the primary problem, and that we don't spend enough time outdoors. It has nothing to do with pollution. You know, even though we're surrounded by it in the house, the main thing is if it doesn't matter that the pollution is there as much as it matters that we don't have the ability, we don't have the other things in the air that our bodies are actually needing. And so he does go through and talk about all the kinds of things in there that are in the air. But those same kinds of things, as he points out, exist outside as well. And yet the difference is, again, that we don't have any way to be able to accept the air, accept the oxygen that's in the air, the things that we need in the air, because our body just can't accept them. They need those active elements that are in the air in order for us to function. And he makes the point: outdoor air is not naturally pure. It is not clean, but the energy that is in the air allows us to breathe it, and it is absolutely important for us to be able to do. He deals with a term that is kind of a tough term. We kind of talked about it for a while, the fact that this is an organic system. And I know, Eric, organic is one of your favorite words, and I railed against it for a while, but the longer I have dealt with the concept of how and why that the air is organic or not, it really does make an awful lot of sense. And Lynn did a really great job of just kind of walking through the idea of it being organic air and describes what we need, what we mean in organic. And by being organic, it's like organic soil, organic food, organic anything. Organic contains all of the elements that we need and expect in a natural environment. It's basically self-replicating, self-renewing, self-restoring, and is always in balance. And he makes some really good points about the fact that the organic air is actually fully balanced, fully contains all of the things that we need to be able to assimilate it. And he makes some very good points about everything staying in balance. Indoor air doesn't have any way normally to get the energy to keep itself in balance. And so what Air Restore does is to be able to provide that energy to keep the air in balance, to keep it in an organic state. And that really starts to make a lot of sense to people. Then he kind of goes through an explanation of some of the other kinds of devices that are out there, and goes into an explanation of what air naturalization is, and does a really great job of pointing out that, you know, because everything is kind of related to getting the oxygen levels up in our bloodstream. That's kind of one of the main goals, the ultimate goals. And there's some intermediate steps that we have to go through to get there, but basically he talks about it being electronically replicating outdoor processes to restoring the energy back in the air. These are concepts that most people don't really understand, and getting it down into a little 3-page document might help a lot of people take a look at what some of what's going on. Makes a very strong point about the fact that that we to be healthy, to sleep, to learn, to be able to ward off a lot of diseases and so forth, we have to get our blood oxygen levels up. And he deals in there with that we don't change the amount of oxygen in the air. That just doesn't happen. I mean, there's so much oxygen in the air, for us to change it, even a percentage, would take a huge kind of a machine. But what we do is that by we're not changing the oxygen in the air, but by putting these unstable molecules in the air, putting the energy in the air, what we're really able to do is to absorb that oxygen and get it into the system, and to generate primarily for that system, that by generation, helping to generate fresh mucus. You know, that just as a side note, I would like to share, I was talking with somebody last week that I was explaining the process and why it is so absolutely essential that you have these active elements in the air, so that you're generating that mucus, so that the oxygen can get into the blood and the carbon dioxide out. And talking to a couple of ladies, and they looked at each other, and they had just both been to a doctor where they were, part of their problem was that their whole system had dried out. They weren't getting the oxygen that they needed. And so he prescribed a medication for them to accomplish the same thing. And when they realized that this was going to do the same thing, and if all they really had to do was spend a couple of hours outdoors each day, or put a naturalizer in their system, it became so obvious to them that that's what they really needed to do. It's a very nice little piece. I'm going to make sure that Eric, that we get this in the back page, back office area right away, so that people are able to use it. And panel, I'm going to see that you get one, and I think that this is going to help people get past that problem. How do you describe what's going on? I know none of you have been able to see it, but I would guess that this is going to be a document that you're going to be able to use to hand to somebody, so that you don't have to go through that explanation, so they can read it word by word, and get an idea of maybe how they can explain it easily to somebody else. Caesar, I see you nodding your head positively about that. Is that going to help?
it's gonna help a lot. I could see, a very good market about this. If I may suggest, if we could have a good printout of this, document, on a nice sheets of paper, so that when we hand out the Air Restore together with this document, it would really help a lot, generate sales, and really help people become healthier too.
I think it helps just to say it over and over again. I know we don't do it nearly enough. When I try to still tell people what it is we do, restoring the energy back into the air to make indoor air act like outdoor air. That really says it all. And it's so important that we move in that direction, because otherwise people think we're an air purifier. And even though we do purify the air, that's not the big thing. That's not the big difference. There's lots of ways to clean the air. But what we've discovered is it's more important that it have energy in it, and that it be energized air than it is to be clean air. The cleanness will take care of itself. Anybody else got a comment that they'd like to make about, and very initially, whether they think that they can use this and how they will use it?
Well, simplicity is the key, and if you can hand somebody something, if they're really interested, they might read it.
Very true. They may, but you read it, and you can't read somebody and absorb something many times when you're talking to them, because they're listening. And something like this is something that you have to sit down at a separate time and say, "Oh, wow, this makes sense." I look at it as having two good purposes. One, I think it's going to be a great training device. I think that you can sit down with somebody when you're preparing them to go out and introduce the product and walk through this process with them, so that they have got some semblance of how this goes together. And we're going to give it a try and see how this is able to go. And if we need to modify it, we'll do some with that. So watch for it, and I will be sending you a copy. With that, I would like to just kind of put the ball back in my panel's lap now and start talking about where we're going to go. What are we going to do? Are we going to do something special as far as getting people up to speed? Just what are your plans for your group, and just share those things that you think that other people could duplicate. Ken, I see you sitting there. I know I just called on you a minute, but you're going to be having meetings and so forth. What's your strategy? What are you doing?
Well, as a leader, one of our jobs is education, and the thing that we've done through the process here, and it is a process. Anytime you launch a product or a business, it's a process. It's not an event. And so one of the things that I know we do and we need to do is to educate, first of all, our customer base, which are the dealers, as to the changes, the opportunity, and re-engage as many of those as we possibly can. The very worst scenario would be that they would be happy with the products they got and tell other people about it. So that's the initial investment. And then we're beginning to prospect new potential dealers for your visit here. And you start now in order to get them in. People don't make quick decisions. If they do, they make quick decisions to get out. So it takes a little time. It takes, they need to try the product. They need to examine the opportunity, and they need to build up a little confidence. It's a process. And so that's our focus.
Cool. Well, Dave Miller, you were talking to me earlier about what you were doing right now, and I was kind of interested in that. Go ahead and share again, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, in addition to keeping in touch with our friends, Family Warm Market, and current dealers, we've been working a little bit in the cold market, and it's a very unusual process. And I started this week with a baseline of just finding out, first of all, how many people out there are really looking for an opportunity. And so I went out and started conversations, usually with people in retail that are out there that I can come back to later. And I would just walk up and start a short conversation and say, "Hey, I wonder if you could help me with something. It'll take less than a minute." And they usually say, "Yeah, sure, okay." And I would tell them my company is giving me an assignment and I'm supposed to ask 10 people if they're looking for an opportunity. So are you looking for an opportunity? And some of them would immediately say, well, yeah, I'm always looking for something new. I'm always looking for an opportunity. And others would say, well, that all depends. And I'd ask them, well, okay, you can put it this way. Were you looking for an opportunity yesterday? And they get, oh yeah, I'm looking for one. Okay, great. And my rule was I couldn't go any further than that. I would just say, okay, thank you. And I would walk on. And some people would say no. And so it was a good experiment on how they would react. But I was also surprised at how I reacted in the beginning when some people said no. And that no kind of hit me. And it's something I've got to work on because it had absolutely nothing to do with me or anything else, simply just getting a response back from them. So it was a great social experiment. It was a great experiment in just getting a baseline on what how strangers would react to that question and how to build from that to get interest and to start bringing people in and meeting their needs.
Yep.
So, and it was a lot of fun.
It's going to be really interesting to see what the outcome of that is because it's about 3 weeks, I think, until I'm going to be down in that part of the country. But I think that you're going to find when you follow up on those things that you'll pique their interest. And you've got a very for you a brand new market down in that in that part of the country that you've not mined before. It's going to be interesting to see how that works. I think it's going to be pretty good.
It's wide open here. Yep,
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
John,
Bill, that's a perfect setup for your trip. If you engage them and then you invite them to a free seminar to meet the inventor, and it's a great incentive, and it is a ground floor, literally a ground floor opportunity.
it surely is. John, you're doing some things too, I think.
Yes, I'm in rehab and not drugs, you guys. I just act like I'm not drugs. I'm in rehab for my heart. And, it's a cold market, the people in my class. And what I did was I just, touched on it a little bit with them. But I was waiting to change them to a warm market. And as we all got to know each other, and I joke, believe it or not, I joke around in the class a little bit, and I try to spread positivity for everybody. And I think we're pretty close friends now. A lot of them we really are. And what happens is before the class, you have to wait for the other class to empty, and we all sit out in a section just outside. And we had everybody there yesterday. I waited because if you were here and you come late, but I had the whole group there. So naturally, I had a captive audience. What do you do? So I luckily had brochures, and I passed everybody a brochure, put on the presentation, and then we'll find out what happens about converting cold markets to warm markets. So another thing, too, is Barb and I just registered for the Chicago Pet Show, which is being held at the Pavilion in Oak Lawn. And we're going to, try to sell it like the Critter Zone. Would you happen to have any of those in the old archives someplace that we might be able to sell for information?
I'll bet that if you get a hold of Eric, he can fix you up.
Yeah, because maybe we could do a closeout there and tell them we can upgrade them for so much money or something, just because we're going to have a lot of people, and hopefully I'm going to get my guys to be involved, and so we can all make a little bit of money. And I think that's it. Barb?
Okay.
Oh, you can redo it with the new literature.
Oh, yeah, I want to re-go now with that new literature. I'll make copies when you guys send it out. It's perfect follow-up after they had a little tease and a short presentation. That paper will be perfect for handing them out the next Monday when I go back in for my exercise program.
Excellent. Very good.
Perfect timing for us. Thank you.
Well, Rick Stein, what are you doing?
On myself, I'm working with making a list right now of all the customers I've sold the old product to, so I can go through and offer them the upgrade. And I know some of those are maintenance lists with my downline Patriot Comfort system. So we're kind of working in conjunction both directions. I'm doing some advertising online to spark interest in becoming, a dealer. And I guess when is that Arkansas one scheduled, or is it scheduled yet?
17th of May.
May, okay. Hopefully we can piggyback on that one. But I'm kind of working twofold. I got my own setup here and also a partner with the comfort systems, and I've been real busy air conditioning. But we mentioned, the product all the time. And this month we're running special on something else for installs. But next month we're actually in May we're gonna do the run where we offer a free air purifier with a system change out, with a whole house air conditioning system change out, and I think that'll go over well. We also basically are running a major Facebook thing for getting likes on our page to offer them one single air restore system once we hit 200 likes. So that's
cool.
Kind of an ongoing thing to keep getting the word out there, and we're always posting different blurbs off the website. We've gone into the YouTube archives and looked up different YouTubes that our Air Restore has. We posted those on our Facebook. So we're usually doing that 3 times a week in-house to try to generate, just educating, generating interest. And then we have other plans as we kind of break loose from our, daily activities with just marketing for the air conditioning business in general, that we'll be able to branch out a little bit more and start making little focused things with education. Because I have a whole list of write-ups and whatnot on the indoor air problem via Normie and my membership in that, and being a mold inspector. So I used to write a blog, so I got all that to educate people with, and I'm just kind of starting to assimilate what I need to do, to educate on an ongoing basis and give some kind of content and value on a weekly basis. And that's kind of what we're putting into effect.
Yeah. Well, one thing I like your plan. 2 things. I'm going to have to re-educate you.
All right.
Because you said that you're going to offer people an air purifier.
Oh,
and
and
I think that they will really like it if they think they're getting an air purifier and it turns out that they get an energizer to restore the energy back into the air. And the second thing is, I'm really, we've talked about, how to use promotions and things like that. And you made one very good point. You're offering them a free naturalizer or a free system on the basis of something else. And that's one of the things that is permissible, because it does nothing but increase the value of the product. We don't allow people to advertise a discounted price, but offering somebody a product of great value is something that is a very good way of doing it. So I commend you for both of those.
All right. Thanks for the correction.
No, I know that because I have to correct myself occasionally as well, because I, like so many people, have fallen into that trap of thinking that clean air was what we were really after, and it never worked. And it wasn't until we finally realized that it was energized air that made the difference, and the cleanliness would take care of itself. And so I'm the guilty one of that as well. I look forward to seeing you on the 17th. Caesar, I know that you heard that we're going to be down that part of the area. You and I are going to have to get together and put together part of our plan for when I get down there.
Yeah, I started a meeting last week, and people are just generating we're starting to generate enthusiasm about each one. And I think enthusiasm is really contagious, especially now with the new paper that we have, the one that you shared with us a minute ago. Mm-hmm. That would add to our enthusiasm. And I think, new people are also coming in, great people are coming in besides the old ones. And waking up the old dealers is one thing I would be focusing on, in the coming few days.
Yeah, I think that that's good. I have been impressed by the number of people that want to be contacted and are ready to come back to work. And so good for you. Dave Ball.
Yes, what I've been focusing on right now is our new dealers. We had a fantastic meeting Thursday night with a new dealer, and she has another meeting set up for me to do Thursday, and I'm training her to do her own. And this will be with another realtor. And we had a lady Thursday night that owns multiple rent houses, and she had one that was really a stinky house that she's trying to rent this next week. And so she has a whole house system hooked up in there to try. And she said if it works, then she's definitely probably going to become a dealer. And so I'm excited about that. We're working toward the May 17th meeting. It will be, as of right now, in Benton, Arkansas, which is central Arkansas. It's a very fast growing, very enriched area where the people are really wanting health. They're exercising. It's a very good area to work and to start. And it's only about 30 miles from my house, so it's easy.
All right. Well, you know, everybody really, when there's a common thread going through here, everybody is working in virgin territory because we have gotten so little penetration for the huge industry that we're in, that everywhere you look, if you just take a close look at it, it's brand new. People have never heard of this technology, and so we have an opportunity truly of a lifetime. So we're looking.
I'm really excited about this article that you shared with us. I believe that's really help us, all of us, as managers and leaders to share this with the population and get them to understand.
Very good. Can't ever have too many training tools. I've discovered that every time you restate something, it makes it just clearer to somebody that was having trouble. So I'm very pleased. Lynn did a fantastic job. I'm sure that you'll recognize that when you see it. So,
thank you.
Lori, let's talk about the middle part of Tennessee.
Middle part of Tennessee. I just want to make a statement about Lynn's write-up. I think that's an excellent thing. Human nature, we believe things that are in print before we believe something that somebody verbally tells us. So it means a lot when you have a lot of good information to give to people that they can read and they can comprehend it at their own speed. So I'm really looking forward to receiving that information from Lynn. I tend to do a lot of old-fashioned mailings with people in my area because older people not always are into the technology. But I cover that also because I've been working with computer-related things like social media. So, and I've also been joining local groups, which have been a little bit tough for me because I'm not into the ladies group stuff, but it gets me introduced to different people. They see me at meetings regularly, and once you talk about your product and people see you more often, I think they feel more comfortable with you and they trust you more. And I really appreciate the paperwork that Lynn put together. I think that's going to be extremely helpful.
I really too. Well, good deal. Yeah, I look forward to being over there. That's on the way. We got to get some people going back over in the Nashville area again, and we're going to be working together. So super. Let's see, Sherry, you're gonna have to speak for the East Coast and the West Coast tonight because Charlie's not on today.
That's what I was going to say. Planning the strategy for our team is really not easy because of the size, because we are so many, and because of the strategic location of each one. We're spread all over the country. So when Bill announced that we were going to have a soft launch, the first thing I did was, of course, try to get hold of the leaders. Some of them positive, some of them negative. So after a couple of weeks now, the waking up is done. So now I said, those who are still negative, let them wait and see. Now, those who are positive, we have to start in action. And then I look back in the early days when I started the business in June of 2015. What I did actually the first few weeks was to go into people's homes. I did one-on-ones and small group meetings. And that's how I feel that what we should be doing now is do exactly the same thing. Like we're starting from grade one, from the bottom again, is start small home meetings, small office meetings. And of course, I know Caesar and Charlie are doing that now, but I'm encouraging our other leaders in other parts of the country. Here in New Jersey, I have started doing the small meetings. And of course, in New York, we have small groups also that are coming up. And then on a long range plan, I actually got a table for our upcoming Philippine Independence Day. That's a big, big celebration here in New Jersey. And that's one way where we will actually tell the world again, Airrestore is back. We're not necessarily looking forward to selling at that time because people will be busy watching the shows, looking at the floats, trying all the native foods that we have. But at least they will now know that Airrestore is back.
That's
So
pretty.
I look forward to that. I'm excited about that, and especially with this this paper that Lynn came out with. I am also looking forward, like Lori said, you have to see it in paper. I am a visual person, so I'd like to read something all the time, and that's really a learning process too.
It really is. Well, I know Charlie is doing, 2 weeks ago, he was on the leadership call and talking about the fact that he was doing lots of small meetings, and he made a really interesting point because what he's doing is he's just setting his meetings, and he's going to be there whether anybody shows up or not, and people show up. And so he has got himself back on a schedule where he is doing things on a regular basis, and you can certainly tell it from the growth that's occurring in his organization. So, Cher, I don't know if you are still on verbally or not. I know that you had to get off your camera. No, I think we're missing her. Well, I can speak up and say, you know, she's now settled in, and she is one of the resources that we have as we continue to roll these things out. I know that Eric, have you got any points that you would like to close with?
No, not really. It's just fun to get things back and going again, and hear all the calls coming in, and yeah, it's good to be busy again.
See, now you've got a couple new things that you have to take care of that you didn't have this morning when you started. And so I always like to be able to make job assignments online. And, you know, there is a feeling that is in every call that I get, people that I've been talking to, that we've been kind of helping to get re-energized, restarted again, brought up to speed. You forget how many little details that there are that if you're not involved in something every single day, that it changes and evolves. And that's why we have to keep in contact. And so everything we can do about keeping in contact, regeneration of old people without fixation. You know, Sherry was absolutely right. We give people a chance and say, look, here's the changes, here's what's happening, get involved. But people are going to do what they're going to do for their own reasons anyway. And so all we can do is offer them the opportunity. But we have got such a huge audience out there that has never heard of us. The marketplace has barely been scratched. And, the things that Lori is saying and Dave Miller down in the Fort Worth area, these are areas where the business has essentially been untouched. And even over in the Houston area with Caesar, as good a big an operation as there was over there, that surface has just been scratched. And so we really are in a position now to take advantage of correcting and updating and upgrading and improving product and plan. We didn't have a chance today to talk about the excitement level as people take a look at the new marketing plan, but I know it's true and I know it's out there that as people look at it and they say, wow, what a tremendous change. And it is a change, but it's all a matter of maturing and getting up and getting ready in preparation for what's going to happen. And I go back to one fundamental idea, and that is that God has continued to bless this company in so many different ways. You look at the people on this panel, the people that have shared with what it's meant in their lives and what it's meant in the lives of a lot of the people that are looking for this as a real business opportunity or a product that's changed their life. God is going to continue to bring those people to us, and we just have to remember that He is continuing to bless us in so many different ways, and to give Him the credit for it. And if we stay focused and we understand that we really have we really are basically servants and workers out there, and a tool in His hands, and that's what we got to remember to be. And so I would like to always end up our meeting giving thanks for the blessings that we have already received, so many of. And Ken, would you word of prayer for us today as we close?
Absolutely. In Psalms it says we enter into your gates with thanksgiving and into your courts with praise. And so, Father, we come before you right now in the name of Jesus, and we do enter into your gates with thanksgiving. We thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for Bill and his commitment, and Eric and all the team. And Lord, we just ask that you bless them, keep them safe and healthy. And Lord, that this would be the best year of Bill's life so far. And Lord, we just ask that you bless each one of these on the panel, that they would go forth and be bold and be strong. And Lord, we just ask that you bless what we're doing. Thank you for that in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you. Well, everybody, we will see you next week, and we will be getting copies of this. Let's get them out and spread the word. So thanks, panel. You sure can.
Yeah, I just wanted to add my my thoughts about Michaela. I know you guys went through a lot of changes up in Minnesota. She's just a delight. She just cannot be more helpful. And
well, Eric,
I want to make sure she gets complimented for that.
We do know, and Eric has got a good eye for talent, and so he will also take credit for finding and helping her. It's a good team. Mm-hmm. So, well, thank you so much, and panel, we'll see you next week, and thank you, and God bless you, and